The Voice 17104.com. This is Zanetta Winfield, and you're listening to The Voice 17104.com. The Voice 17104.com.
You are now tuned into Real Rap on The Voice 17104, where Ron Chapel happens every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, you know who this is. It's your girl Niagara. Yeah!
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won.
Amen. Good evening, everybody. I'm Ron Chapel. Welcome to Real Rap with Ron Chapel. How y'all doing? Yeah, lift every voice and sing. I believe that's known as the Black National Anthem. And this is still Black History Month. First, let me begin by saying that it's a concept that I really am not a fan of. I don't like the concept of Black History Month. I think that singles black folks out and make us feel as if we have to validate ourselves for being in this country, for enjoying the liberties and the rights that we have all fought for. And so, I'm not really a fan of that whole attitude about Black History Month. I think every day is history. And I think that Black history is American history. When we talk about the Black experience here in America, I think that it would be fair, being that we have a Black History Month designation, that there should be an Asian History Month, and an Arab History Month, and a Native American History Month, and a German History Month, a Polish History Month, so on and so forth. So you get my drift on that. But be it as it may, it's called Black History Month. We're here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Let me say hi to the engineer, Pastor Chris Thomas. How you doing, sir?
Hey, God bless you, brother. Welcome back, man. It's good to see you back in the studio. I'm doing well. Thanks,
okay. Yeah, it's good to see you too. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to highlight some Black history of the Harrisburg area. As I say, we're in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This is the capital of Harrisburg. And let's see, we're going to talk about some African Americans who shaped Harrisburg area's history. And we'll start off with the abolitionist Jane Marie Mars Chester, who was born a slave in 1801 in Virginia. Now, she escaped the North in 1825, and she married George Chester, who I believe Chester, Pennsylvania is named after. Okay, he operated a restaurant and became Harrisburg's major caterer. The restaurant was a gathering spot for abolitionists. Now, Miss Jane Marie Mars Chester died in 1894. Okay, now let's go to another person that influenced Black history that was historical in the Harrisburg area, and that is Mr. John P. Scott. John P. Scott was Harrisburg's first black school administrator when he was appointed Calder building principal. He touched the lives of thousands of students in his 47-year career. Scott was a patriot of one of the city's most enduring families. On the day of his funeral in 1931, city schools closed in his honor. Let's talk about Charles Fuller Howard. He served for 50 years as principal of Stilton's Hygienic Elementary School, a school for black pupils in grades 1 to 8. He became the teacher at Hygienic after graduating from Stilton High School in 1885. Now, Stilton is a small city, a small town right outside the borderline of Harrisburg. And so he graduated from Stilton High in 1885 and was appointed principal in 1986. He retired in 1936. Now let's talk about Miss Emma Thompson McGowan. She was an inspiration for her students in Carlisle's segregated schools. She was born in Virginia in 1876 and taught for 30 years in Carlisle's Lincoln and Wilson buildings before retiring in 1943. She died in 1966. The school board named the high school's West building after her. Now let's talk journalists. Again, Mr. Thomas Morris Chester. He was so this is a different Chester, okay? Thomas Morris Chester. He was the son of Jane and George Chester. He was born in Harrisburg in 1834. He recruited soldiers for the U.S. colored troops and was the only black war correspondent to work for a major white newspaper. He was admitted to the English bar in 1870, and he died in 1892. Now, how about Mr. Peter Sullivan Blackwell? He published the Stilton Press, a newspaper for the black community. He was elected to Stilton Council in 1904 and was an entrepreneur and community organizer. Now, let's speak of a lawyer, W. Justin Carter Sr. He lived from 1866 to 1947. He was an attorney and was one of the original members in 1905 of the Niagara Movement, the precursor to the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. He was a secretary to Lieutenant Governor Edward E. Beetleman. Governor George Earl named him, let's see, okay, all right, and that page, named him chairman of a commission to rewrite the State Workmen's Compensation Act. Okay, now let's talk about a soldier, Mr. Ephraim Slaughters. His life began in slavery in North Carolina, but he escaped to the North and fought in the Civil War to end racial servitude. He died in Harrisburg in 1943 at the age of 97, the city's last Civil War veteran. Now, you know, we have an Ephraim Slaughter the American Legion here in Harrisburg. And I think they just just relocated over on Walnut Street. They was over on 6th Street for the longest. Okay, let's talk about an Underground Railroad conductor. And that's Harriet McClinton Marshall, who lived near North Front and Calder Streets. And she assisted in the feeding, clothing, and care of escaping slaves who found shelter at Wesley Union AME Zion. Chris, you hear that? I'm gonna read that again. Sure. It's Harriet McClinton Marshall, who lived near North Front and Calder Streets. She assisted in the feeding, clothing, and care of escaping slaves who found shelter at Wesley Union AME Zion. Okay, and where we happen to be at right now, where the radio station is emanating from. She is buried in Lincoln Cemetery. How about YWCA director, Miss Ella Frazier? She was the executive director of the Harrisburg YWCA, Phyllis Wheatley branch at Cowden and Briggs Streets from 1923 to 1955. She involved girls in athletic programs, encouraged teens to learn office skills, offered homemaking advice to young mothers, and at night often took to the streets to talk to idle youth, suggesting they become involved in productive activities. She died in 1977. Okay. Who do you think you are? The African American leaders today who may someday earn a place on the list of those who helped shape the Mid-States history. Okay, that's a question. That's a rhetorical question that's posed in this article. And yes, I know that some folks don't like to be read to, but I gotta admit that I did not have all these facts on the top of my head, and so I thank you for bearing with me as I brought this information to you. Okay, let's speak about some photographers. Okay, Mr. William C. Goodrich. He was born in 1806 in Maryland. He arrived in York, PA in 1811. He built a 5-story building in downtown York. He operated a railway freight service and was a station master on the Underground Railroad. His son, Glenelvin, founded one of the most enduring black photography firms in America. But Mr. Charles Franklin Moss, 1878 to 1961, a Winchester, Virginia native, was an accomplished photographer and artist with studios in Harrisburg and Carlisle. That's Mr. Charles Franklin Moss. Politicians, Andrew M. Bradley, who died in 1983, played pivotal roles in state government, the Democratic Party, and the development of Harrisburg. He became the first black person to serve in a cabinet post in Pennsylvania when Governor George M. Leader appointed him state budget secretary in 1955. 2 years later, he became the state secretary of property and supplies. And Miss C. Dolores Tucker was a groundbreaking politician and civil rights crusader. She was the first black female chairman of the Pennsylvania Democratic Party. That's Miss C. Dolores Tucker. The first female vice president of the Pennsylvania National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, and the first black and first woman to serve as Pennsylvania Secretary of the Commonwealth. She died in October 2005. And we have school board president, the Reverend William Howard Day, 1825 to 1900. He was a recipient of a master's degree. He was a newspaper editor in Cleveland and prominent educator. He settled in Harrisburg in 1872. He was elected to the Harrisburg School Board in 1978 and was his first black president. The first black president of the Harrisburg School Board was the Honorable Reverend William Howard Day. Okay, he was born in 1825 and he lived to 1900. Okay, and so those are some of the historical people that happen to be black that contributed to the history of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and its surrounding areas. Okay, and so if you have some black history facts that you want to relate us, please feel free to phone us. You can phone in and let everybody know about it, or you can leave a message and Chris will read the message because I can't see it on the screen that I'm on right now. And I will say that I tried to reach out to Harrisburg's foremost historian. I'm not just going to call him a black historian, but foremost historian that knows a lot of black history from this area. Okay, and I could not reach Mr. Caleb Jackson. Okay, we're Facebook friends. I sent him a message. I didn't have his phone. I don't have his phone number. I sent him a message, and I guess he don't check his Facebook inbox that often, so we don't have him on. And I did not have a way to contact the Honorable Mr. Homer Floyd. Oh, he's someone that I was also suggested to contact, a few years back to have on the program, as a matter of fact. But I don't have a way to contact him, and so if you do, please relay that message to me or let him know, and let Caleb Jackson know that I'm trying to get in contact with both of them to be here on the Ron Chappell Show to relay some black Harrisburg area history and some American history, because the black history is indeed American history. Chris, you got a comment or something you want to input?
Oh no, I just see that you've done your homework, man, and I'm actually impressed to see that we don't have to go far to see history, not only in the making, but history that has been made here in the Star 717 area.
Yes, and there's a lot of, matter of fact, every day is a historical occasion. You know, these days it reminds me of a song that was out 10 or 20 years ago by Gladys Knight and the Pips, where she was talking about in that song that everybody's talking about the good old days, the good old days. Well, a time is going to come when we'll look at these days and call them the good old days. And that might be in effect right now too, especially if the presidential election don't go the way a lot of us would like for it to go. And so what do y'all think about all that controversy and all the cases surrounding former President Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States? You have any comments? You got anything you want to say about that? How do you feel about the charges against him? And a lot of folks, I've been hearing the undercurrent of folks saying, well, ain't nothing going to happen to him. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
You know, because he's a rich man, he's white, and he's a former president. But I really beg to differ. I think that it's imperative that if the facts line up the way that they've been presented to be lined up by Special Counsel Jack Smith and other prosecutors, I think that it's imperative that he also face the same justice that any other person would face. You know, because after all, I think it was the New York State Supreme State Appeals Court on a case. They referred to Donald J. Trump now as Citizen Trump. Whatever protections that he had as sitting president, he don't have them now. You know, his feet is back on the ground. You know, he is Citizen Trump. He's not President Trump. It's apropos to call him ex-President Trump or former President Trump, but his lawyers want to continually refer to him in court as President Trump. And many times they are corrected by federal judges saying that no, America has one president. In so many words, they say America has one president at a time. And that president right now is Joseph Biden. Okay, he is the president right now of the United States. Donald Trump had his time, and he's really nothing more than a ex-federal government employee. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Chris Thomas?
Yes, sir.
The same way a retired mailman or mailwoman, retired mail carrier or postal worker is a ex-federal government employee. And so I don't think that he should be given any special privileges, any special rights. I don't think the law should be bent for him in any way whatsoever because of a job that he used to have. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
You know, we all used to do something, this, that, or the other, you know, but that it makes no difference. This is now, that was then. Okay, and so anyway, listen, y'all, let's get into some Black History facts that's going on right now with some of our public officials. Okay, and both of these people that I'm going to speak about now have appeared on the Ron Chapel Show. They were here during the campaign season when they were vying for various offices, and they came back on other occasions to talk with us here at The Voice 17104. Okay, and there's a couple of stories that's been featured on Penn Live and also in the Patriot News, and so these are not my facts. I'm just relaying the stories that a lot of y'all have read, a lot of y'all know about. Okay, and so don't harm the messenger. You know, I did not print this. You know, some say, well, then why are you going to present it? I'm presenting it because it's in a public forum. And I'll say that I reached out to both of these people that I'm about to speak of. I reached out to both of them and invited them to come on the program to say anything they want to say about the accusations against them. Okay, and so we'll start with the matter of fact, this person I consider a friend of the program, Pastor Thomas.
Okay, yes,
I consider this person a friend of the station. Okay, because this person has been a contributor to the station, and I will not forget, and I still thank her. She showed up for one of our anniversaries here at the station, Pastor Thomas.
Yes, sir.
And she even brought a delicious, wonderful pie.
Sure.
Okay, you remember Chris
Yes,
Thomas?
sir, I do.
Okay, and she was also here to help promote another candidate that we had on that was running for a office. And I'll say right now, we are coming to the campaign season now, and something that I used to do. I used to provide space, courtesy, carte blanche space to any candidate that wanted to come on and express their desire to be elected and express their desire for you to vote for them. But somebody messed that up, Pastor Thomas.
Sure.
Somebody messed that up because we and I'm not throwing anything in anybody's face. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. Okay. But this is real rap, and I'm that guy. Okay. We made a space for a particular candidate. We had the candidate on several times, Pastor Thomas.
Sure.
Several times. It did not charge them 1 red cent. I say did not charge them 1 red cent because this too is a business. This is a business just as much as the yard sign people are running a business. You understand what I'm saying? This is a business the same way the people that print all them flyers and all those banners, all them big gigantic banners. That is a business also. You understand what I'm saying? And I doubt very seriously if they're going to print you any free yard signs, and they're certainly not going to print you any free banners. After all, that, I believe, is what the donation money was for. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Chris Thomas?
Sure.
And also not just to support businesses that are owned by people that live outside of Harrisburg, but I think that it would be a real good example to also conduct business with businesses in Harrisburg. You understand what I'm saying? Especially, businesses where you want their viewers' votes. You should want every vote that you can get. Every legal vote that you can get. But as I say, some particular candidate used us as if we were the doggone doormat, set outside your door on a rainy day. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Yes, sir.
Because when we called upon that particular candidate to come on to do a service to help highlight the program for an event that we were having here, that was promoting the station. They didn't have time to stop by, to call, to text, or anything. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Now listen, I was always taught that it's all right to use your friends. People use their friends for various positive things. They use their friends as references to get jobs. They use their friends as references to get loans. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
To buy houses or to buy cars or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? But it's wrong, it's completely wrong to misuse your friends. You understand what I'm saying? And there is a difference. There is a difference between use it and misuse it. And so I feel strongly that we were misused here on the Ron Chapel Show and on Real Rap with Ron Chapel. And so I'm going to tell you, there's no more just impromptu courtesy visits, okay? No more. We're going to let you come on and talk for 15 to 20 minutes about your desire to get a paying job. No. This is a business. And so if you want the votes of people that watch this program, that interact with this program, well, then you could treat us the same way you treat the people that make the yard signs. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Yes, sir.
Because there's expenses in all businesses, and the station isn't here just because someone say, hey, you guys want to run a radio show? Well, here, just be here. I got an extra room. Lights and everything but anyway, nobody tuned in to be belabored with somebody else's issues. I'm just making a point that we're getting into election season. And so if a campaign wants to sponsor a candidate to come on the program, well then just reach out to the station, and you'll be surprised at the low cost of it all. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Chris Thomas?
Sure.
And I think Pastor Thomas will co-sign that. He would confirm that also. Okay, and so we're going to talk about two candidates. Like I said, I reached out to these candidates to see if they care to come on the show. Maybe they feel like they didn't have to. Maybe they feel like well, surely they didn't want to, Pastor Thomas, because they didn't respond or they would be here. Okay, and that is their prerogative. That's their prerogative. Okay, and so I'm going to talk about a couple of stories pertaining to a couple elected officials here in Harrisburg. The first one is Magisterial District Judge, the Honorable Judge Sonia McKnight. Now it says that the Pennsylvania Judicial Conduct Board has filed charges against Dauphin County Magisterial District Judge Sonia McKnight and asks that she be suspended once again. Okay, the board alleged those charges Wednesday with the Court of Discipline, claiming Judge McKnight committed multiple violations of the rules of governing standards of the magisterial district judges and the Constitution of Pennsylvania. Okay, the complaint alleges Judge McKnight in 2022 intervened in the filing of a lawsuit against her, and in July 2021 used her position to obtain information connected to a criminal case against her in which she was accused of interfering in her son's arrest. Okay, she was later acquitted. And as a matter of fact, I believe, Pastor Thomas, that was in the midst of the election, the last election for magisterial district judge.
Sure.
Is when this story appeared. Okay, the complaint also says she failed to recuse herself in cases when she should have that involved her former attorney and an officer connected to her previous arrest. Okay, other allegations are leveled in the complaint say McKnight solicited for a product on her Facebook page that identified her as a judge, did not show up for night court duties earlier this year, forcing other judges to cover for her, and improperly gave staffers an additional 4 vacation days off, constituting theft of time. Okay, constituting theft of time. Okay, in separate motion sought to have her suspended while the new charges are considered and her probation revoked, citing part of a 2023 order from the court that said McKnight was not to commit any other ethical violations. She was previously suspended for 190 days in 2021 and served 10 additional days earlier this year to complete a 200-day suspension. McKnight will have the opportunity to defend herself against the new charges in a trial. If the court determines the charges have been proven, she could face sanctions, including censure, suspension, fine, or removal from office. Says they reached for comment Thursday. McKnight said a lawyer would contact WGAL in regards to her response to the charges. Okay, and so we're making the same offer invite available here. If Judge McKnight's attorney wants to come on the show and say anything about these allegations, say anything about, I believe, these pending cases, or lambaste me for even reading them, which I can take it the same way I can give it. They're welcome to come on. They're welcome to come on. And so, as I say, I still consider Judge McKnight a friend of the show. I hope she still feels the same way. Maybe not now, but anyway, we still love her. We still respect her. I still respect her, and I wish her the best possible outcome. The best possible outcome for Your Honor. And our doors are open here, and we have a chair and a microphone for you or your counsel, or both of you to come in. Just let us know. Just let us know when you're available on a Monday night for a Monday night sit down here, and you can talk to the public. You can talk to the public if you feel a need to say anything. If you want to say anything, well, then our doors are open here, and so we give you that invite. Okay, as I understand right now, currently, Judge McKnight is suspended, and I believe suspended without pay, Pastor Thomas.
Wow.
Suspended without pay, which is a big blow in itself. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
Because during the last election, I looked up, the pay scales of a lot of these offices that people were vying for, and I think that that's also important for voters to know. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
If somebody's in it for them, or if somebody's in it for their own pockets, purse, or account. You understand what I'm saying? And I think what I recall is that judges, magistrates, and judges in Pennsylvania, their pay range goes from $180 to about $225,000 a year.
Wow.
$180 to $225,000 annually. Okay, and so keep all that in mind. The next time someone wants to campaign to be a judge or magistrate here in Pennsylvania, okay? And by all means, if they are vying for that position that pays money like that, Pastor Thomas,
Sure.
Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
And they want you to go out and work for them, and I'm gonna tell you, campaigning is work. As I said, running up and down them stairs, that takes a lot out of a person, okay?
Sure.
As a kid, I thought about one day maybe being a mailman, but anyway, when I got older, and I tell you, I don't mean at this age here either. I mean 25 years ago. Was it 25 years ago almost when Linda Thompson ran for mayor?
I believe so.
Pastor Thomas?
Yes, sir.
And I did that campaigning for her campaign. Going upstairs, up concrete stairs, wooden stairs, up the porches, back down, up again, up again, up again, down again, up again. And and I'm gonna tell you, you really feel it at the end of those 3 or 4 hours. I mean, you do that yourself, Pastor Thomas.
Sure.
I think when y'all be out there, spreading the word, and
Yes, sir.
and you got to go around like that, and I'm gonna tell you that doesn't work. And if somebody expects you to do that for free, well, I think you might consider that you might be getting played. You understand what I'm saying? Because after all, what are you getting out of it? And I'm gonna tell you, this is a political and business world. Pastor Thomas,
Yes, sir.
when I ran for office, even people that were out collecting signatures for me,
Yes, sir. Yes,
I had a couple of people doing that, I made the ballot every time, but they didn't elect me because they didn't want to. They say Ron Chappell's too outspoken, Ron Chappell too abrasive, Ron Chappell talk too much about the racial issues, and so they did. So I didn't get elected, but I did pay. I think I was paying 25 cents for each correct signature. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Okay.
I paid people to do that. I paid people to go out and collect signatures, and I paid people to stand at those doggone polling places. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure,
To
sure.
stand at those polling places. Now, I'm going to tell you, when they say some folks don't want to work, that was bared out. I think, like out of 20-something polling places here in the Harrisburg area, Pastor Thomas, I can only cover 3. I only had 3 people to work at those polling places. You understand what I'm saying? And I was running between 2 and 3 myself.
Wow.
That's another reason why, and matter of fact, I didn't even have any poll watchers. Poll watchers, those are the people that be there when they count the votes.
Yes, sir.
You're allowed to have a representative at each one of the polling locations at the end of the night where they count the votes. And I didn't have anybody but myself, trying to run between 1 and 2 others. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Yes, sir.
So I might have even got gypped out some votes, where Chapel will have a representative here? Okay, well, we'll take his 50 or 75 and divide them up. Don't nobody say nothing. Yeah, they're not here. They don't. So we assume they don't want to be here, so they don't care, and so et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that is legitimate. That's how some people end up losing elections. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
Because they don't have it organized enough. They don't have it organized enough, to do it properly. Which I did not have it organized enough to conduct it properly. And another thing, I paid for my campaign out of my own pocket. I think I had 3 donors. Maybe I tell you something. Maybe I tell you not about. Maybe tell you something about me.
Sure.
They didn't want me elected, but one of the donors I never will forget would be the late Nevin Midland. I think he was my first donor.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? And so anyway. It take a lot of money. It take a lot of money to run a campaign. And so if you considering vying for office in this upcoming primary, I hope you save your money right now. I hope you save your money right now. And I hope you're contacting and locking down your donors right now. And like I say, you have friends that want to help you out. You have family members that want to help you out. And see, I said, there's nothing wrong with using a friend, but I tell you, if you don't think you should pay them, if you don't think you should compensate them for their time and for their energy, well, then I think that you are misusing them. You understand what I'm saying? You are misusing your friends. You're misusing those people because they have expenses too. Yeah, it costs them money to buy gas to ride around, promoting you and your name. So be willing to break bread with them because after all, unless you're running for school board, you're going to get paid if you get that position. And so fair play ain't no robbery, and that's the name of that tune. That's the way I feel about it. You feel different, you got something you want to say, well then say it. Don't just be about it, talk about it. Give us a call here at 717-889-7181. That's 717-889-7181. Okay, you can call up and say it. You call up and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. If you want to do that, come on, bring it. Bring it. Okay, listen, the next public figure I'm going to talk about is Harrisburg City Council member Asha Green. Asha Green. Now, she's been on the program before, especially during campaign season, Pastor Thomas, and she was, her campaign sponsored her appearance, okay? So let me make that crystal clear. Her campaign sponsored her appearance, and so she's not the one that I think that misused us, that wiped their muddy feet off on us. She's not the person I'm talking about. She was very, very honorable, and her campaign sponsored her appearance. Okay, now this is a story about Asha Green, and it involves, and she's on the Harrisburg City Council. And as a matter of fact, I think she had rose to be vice president of that council. I don't know if she still holds that position. Matter of fact, I don't even know if she's still on council. This might be outdated news, Pastor Thomas. Sure. Because I used to attend council. I used to attend council about 2 or 3 times a month. For a few years. But I haven't been in a long, long time. But anyway, so this story involves Harrisburg City Council member, Miss Asha Green, and it also involves a family member of hers, which I'm not gonna designate which family member, because there's certain things, we just don't want to. I don't want to talk about, I don't want to, give any inference one way or the other about someone's personal family member. I'm talking about her. I'm not talking about any members of her family, Pastor Thomas. You understand what I'm saying? Sure. And she's a public figure. She's an elected public figure here in Harrisburg. And so I think that it's fair to be able to talk about this particular case, which I think is very, very important. And as I say, I reached out to her, and I reached out to her last campaign manager that we know of, and that's Miss Jamie Janelle Jenkins. Is her last name Jenkins? It's not Jenkins. I don't think so. No, Jamie. God dog it. Jamie Johnson. Jamie Janelle Johnson. I reached out to her. And so I thought that she would have a contact with Miss Asha Green because I believe she's worked with Miss Green on two separate campaigns. But here's the story, in case you haven't heard it, okay? Police in Cumberland County said Harrisburg council member is facing a first-degree misdemeanor retail theft charge after she and a family member didn't pay for more than $387 worth of goods they took with them during several visits last year to a Weis grocery store in Lower Allen Township. Now, Chris, you know the modern thing in a lot of these stores now, you don't have to wait in a cashier's line. You know, they have the self checking, self checkout.
Yes.
You know they have those like at Walmart. I know they have them at Giant, and y'all are familiar with that. You go there, you scan your card if you have a discount card from that store, or you put in your phone number if your phone number is associated with your card if you don't have your card. And then you proceed to scan your items, and the store gives you a discount, if you are a member of their particular club, okay? And so anyway, so the accusation here is that City Council member Arthur Green and a family member, went through the self-scanning area machine, conveyor belt, if you will, and they did not pay for more than $387 worth of goods. Okay, and this supposedly happened last year. This took place during several visits, Pastor Thomas. And I think a several is more than two, because it would say two. I think several is more. It's at least three.
Wow.
Okay, during several visits last year to a Weis grocery store in Lower Allen Township. Okay, Councilwoman Asha Green, 33, is facing 1 count of retail theft for items that included groceries, mums, diapers, stuffed animals, and cough syrup, valued at $387. Now that's a whole lot of stuff right there. $387 for mums. The little mints. Yeah, I believe that's what they are.
Or is it flowers?
Flowers. Your mom's are flowers. Okay, yeah, and okay. So I'm thinking about something else. I'm thinking about the edible little candies that y'all know of, but like moms are flowers. Okay, yeah, and so if you price the flowers at some of those flower displays and cases at grocery stores, I think they do hit like 8, 9, 12, some $22 stuff like that. Okay, but so moms, diapers, stuffed animals, and cough syrup, valued at $387.22, according to police. Okay, now the court released her, so she actually got arrested.
Okay.
Because it says the court released her on her own recognizance ahead of a formal arraignment next month. Now this story comes this month, so comes from this month, so we're talking about in February. Okay, her family member is also facing 1 count of retail theft. Okay, court documents say Green was identified and admitted during an interview with the officer to shopping at the Weis store during this time frame, and admitted that they may have underrang items while at the store. Reached by a reporter Friday, Green said it was not a good time for her to talk and said she would call back. She had not as of Friday night. Said Green serves as the vice president, so she is current. Green serves as the vice president of the Harrisburg City Council, and she chairs the council's Budget and Finance Committee. Okay, and so that's the story, y'all. That's the story. But my question, I have a question. Chris, you may have a question too, but I have a question. If these allegations are true, if Ms. Green is going to be formally charged, with this retail theft, which I guess that she is, Pastor Thomas, if she's waiting a trial on it, a court appearance on it. Okay, the question is, should she be suspended? Should she be suspended during the disposition of this particular case? should she be suspended without pay? Without pay. Now, they don't make as much, Pastor Thomas, as a magistrate. I think a city council member might make something like 23 or 25,000. Like it's really a part-time job. A part-time job. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Because I think they have like a couple of months off during the summer, and so I think that they might work, as far as I know, probably about 7 days a month, in their capacity of Harrisburg City Council member. I mean, it's a part-time job, unlike the City Council in Detroit, for instance, where I grew up at, Pastor Thomas.
Sure.
Because the City Council in Detroit was being paid more than the mayor of Harrisburg makes right now. A City Council in Detroit pays upward of $180,000 a year, but it's a full-time job, and it is a metropolitan city with probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 times bigger than Harrisburg. As a matter of fact, there was a time, I don't know how true it is now because I haven't lived in Detroit since '92, but the mayor of Detroit back in the '80s, I know of, Pastor Thomas. The mayor of Detroit was the highest paid mayor in the whole country.
Wow.
In the whole country. I mean, the mayor of Detroit, back during the Coleman Young era, made more money than the mayor of New York and the mayor of Chicago and the mayor of Los Angeles. I don't know if it's because, Detroit with the automotive plants and everything, it's sort of like the financial heart of the nation or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why it was, but the mayor of Detroit was making back then over $225,000, a year. And I think that the highest I heard the mayor of Harrisburg being quoted as making is something like 80 or 90,000, unless they got a raise recently. But I think when Leonard Thompson was mayor, and who was the other guy that she replaced, Eric Paperfoods, I think they were making about $80,000 a year. But at that time, I think the magistrates were only making about 80,000 also, and so it's and that was years and years ago. As I told you now, magistrate makes 180,000 and up. Okay, and so anyway, so what do you think about the Oscar Green story? Okay, do you think, or are these complaints, these allegations against City Council member Oscar Green, the Vice President of Harrisburg City Council? Should council vote to suspend her pending the outcome of this retail theft charge? And or should Councilwoman Green just voluntarily step down from that post during the disposition of these particular charges? Okay, is it fair to have a city council member representing the city of Harrisburg and all concerns here in the city of Harrisburg to be charged with retail theft, Pastor Thomas? Anybody might make a mistake one time. You know what I'm saying? You got your milk, you got your lettuce, you got your whatever, and people are lined up, and you don't want to take all the time in the world at the cash register, so you rush along. So you might overlook something, out of 15 items, you might forget to scan maybe a pack of cheese or something. You know what I'm saying? Just in a rush, just human error, human error. But they said this was over several occasions. And they've tallied up close to $400. So do you think that she should either be suspended, other city council members should suspend her, or relieve her from her position there as being one of the chair people? I think where it says she was the chairperson of one of the committees. They have different committee chairs with Harrisburg City Council, Pastor Thomas.
Yes, sir.
Like some is, public safety, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, she serves as the Vice President of Harrisburg City Council, and she chairs the council's Budget and Finance Committee. Budget and Finance Committee are being charged with retail theft. As this story goes, I did not print this. I just read it the same way a lot of you have been reading it, or a lot of you can read it. Okay, we are a free expression station here, and as I say, we extended an invitation to Miss Green, or Miss Green and Miss Green's family member, or Miss Green's campaign manager, campaign director, attorney, or anyone associated with Miss Green. If she want to come on the program and lambaste me for even reading the article, for presenting the article, well then okay, I'm good for that. I'm good for that too. Or if you want to come on and dispute these particular charges, I'm not saying that you owe anybody anything like that, but I think that the voting public, the residents of Harrisburg, has a right to know the other side of the story, And the way they print these papers and they print these particular stories, they sensationalize, stuff, and they try to really objectify a person. They try to convict a person before they even have their day in court, Pastor Thomas.
Sure.
And so these are the two public officials that I was speaking of, and also if they choose to step down, and I wish them both well. As I say, they have been supporters of the station. I do wish them well. But if they are found to be at fault, then I think that it might be time for the city to hold special elections, Pastor Thomas. Special elections to seat two people that would take the place of these two that are bound for trial. Okay. Now, as far as I care, Pastor Thomas, if they did have special elections, I think that these two would be just as good as anybody else to reapply for that particular seat. Pastor Thomas.
Sure.
I don't have any qualms about that. And so, what do y'all think? You want to write in a message? You want to call in a message or whatever? We're open for that. 717-889-7181. And something else I left out, when I said about Harrisburg, Harrisburg is basically a hometown family with a lot of town, if I made up a word there, where there's a lot of big families. There's families here, with 8 or 9 different households of cousins and relatives and so on and so forth. And it's a big clique city. It's a big clique city, And another thing about Harrisburg is that if you're not from here, they will always remind you that you're not from here. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Yes, sir.
They'll let you know that they are aware in a lot of ways that you are not from here. You know what I'm saying? Because they generally only support people that are from here, people that are from here. You know what I'm saying? Irregardless of the quality of what they present or what, if you're from here, you're in. If you're not from here, well then you are the odd person out. You're like the redhead, buck-toothed, cross-eyed stepchild. You understand what I'm saying? And let you know that in no uncertain ways, But I'm asking y'all as Harrisburg residents, how do you feel about these two public officials, these two public elected officials who have found their place being accused of these particular charges? Now, and of course, just because they're accused don't mean that they're guilty. Don't mean that they're guilty, you know. And we're not proclaiming it. We're not saying that anybody is guilty, you know, because as I say, these are accusations. These are accusations. These are accusations that were printed in public newspapers and on public media forums. And so we're just relaying that message. And also, while I'm out there, you know, Chris was telling me that he got word that there's a new radio station that opened up here in Harrisburg, and we just want to say, welcome to the airwaves. We want to say welcome to the airwaves, you know, and we hope that things will go the way that you hope that they will go. We'll just say this, however, you know, I think it's fair to say this, Pastor Thomas, that it's not easy. It's not easy, you know. It's not easy just to say, well, you know what? I'm going to start a radio station. Listen, you know, no one wakes up in the morning and say, you know what? I'm going to start flying jet planes, Pastor Thomas. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure, yes, sir.
I think I'll be an airline pilot. Okay? Well, good luck with that. Good luck with that, you know, but let me know what plane you are piloting, you know, so I'll make sure I don't be on it. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas? But listen, you know, so a lot of folks have come along and they tried different things, you know what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
And they tried them, you know, and a lot of those folks are not, well, anyway, you know, this is the voice of Harrisburg right here, the voice 17104.com internet radio. How long has this station been operating, Pastor Thomas?
Going on our 10th year, sir.
Going on 10 years, going on a decade, you know, going on a decade. And it's still a struggle day by day. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and so anyway, so many have swam, you know, these waters. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
And many ran into sharks, you know, and sharks and piranha, that they're not swimming these waters anymore. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
And I'm talking about the radio business, and so be not dismayed, you know, as I say, we've had politicians come on the show, some to be interviewed, and some as guests on the show, and some to promote their candidacy. But we don't have, or neither do we desire to have, politicians that just want to pop up for photo ops. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Yes, sir. Yes,
just
sir.
pop up for photo ops. You understand what I'm saying? You know, because that is cheap. That's very, very cheap. That's a very, very cheap way of campaigning. That's a very cheap way of campaigning. You know what I'm saying? You know, if I'm running for office, Pastor Thomas, if I'm running for re-election, Pastor Thomas, or if I want to stay in office, Pastor Thomas,
Yes, sir.
you could be over there selling fertilizer, you know. And as long as you know a lot of people that buy fertilizer, if I'm one of them politicians, I'm gonna go over there and stand right with you. You know, I'm gonna watch where I step at. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so, smiling faces. There was a song out, Undisputed Truth. Smiling faces sometime can pretend to be your friend. You know, smiling faces show no traces of the evil that lurks within. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? I see you over there shake your head. You playing that tune yourself, Pastor Tom? Yeah, you remember that song? And some say it was by the Temptations, but no, the group is called the Undisputed Truth, you know, which is another reason why I think that I should have an oldies radio show, Pastor Thomas.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
you know, that's it's one of the dreams of mine, you know,
Sure.
an oldies radio show, because I tell you, and no brag, just fact. Sometimes you got to be like Gable and toot your own horn. The great Muhammad Ali once said, I have a very, 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 very extensive musical knowledge repertoire. A very, very extensive musical knowledge background. I say it like that. You know, the other words escape me right now. You know, and I mean, I can go anywhere from Janis Joplin to Muddy Waters, to Fast Domino, to whomever, to Neil Sedaka, to Neil Diamond, you know, all of them. You know, the Guess Who, you know, the Who, you know, the Platters, you know, the Spinners, the Intruders, so on and so forth. You know, Billy Eckstein, Mr. B, Frank Sinatra, all of them, Bobby Goldsboro, so on and so forth. You know, some of them people y'all never heard of, but I tell you, I got a lot of history about those particular acts, you know, and so on and so forth. A lot of musical history, you know, such as who is the only person, what song by the Supremes included the only male vocalist on that particular song? Do you know the song, Chris?
No, sir.
Okay, the song was called Someday We'll Be Together. Someday We'll Be Together. That's the only Supreme song that has a male vocalist on it. And that name of that male vocalist is Johnny Bristol. Johnny Bristol was the only male vocalist that ever appeared on any Supreme song. You know, facts like that, I've got plenty, I've got many, and I've got plenty. You know, as I say, you know, an oldies radio show, if I ever get a sponsor for that, Pastor Thomas, I tell you, I think it would be a nationwide success because I'll put my music history background, my musical history knowledge against just about anybody out there. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas?
Sure.
You know, Wolfman Jack. Yeah, is he still around, Wolfman Jack?
I'm not too
I don't know, but like, you know, hey, come on, man, you know. But anyway, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. So that might be the next show that I do. You know, oldies but goodies. You know, music, all genres of music. It could be rhythm and blues. It could be rock. It could be hard rock. It could be country and western. You know, the only, you know, as I say, I'll be honest. The only music genre that I'm probably not familiar with, and that's country bluegrass. You know, but I tell you, I'll study it. I will study it. You know, because I would like to feature all genres of music. You know, all kind of music y'all consider old music, you know. And I tell you another musical fact, you know, jazz music is the only true American musical art form. Everything else came from someplace else, Pastor Thomas.
Wow.
Country and western was even found to come from somewhere else. But jazz is the only musical art form that was created, that was invented here in America. And it was invented by slaves, Pastor Thomas.
Wow.
Slaves and ex-slaves. You know, some say, some journals will say Louisiana, some will say Mississippi, but it's the only universally recognized and appreciated and enjoyed musical art form that originated from right here in the USA, and that's jazz. And as I say, if God give, you know, I'll have me a oldies radio show. And I really hope that y'all would tune in. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you something. You know, it'll be far-reaching, so that'll probably be I'll probably get some support out of that, Pastor Thomas, because it'll be beyond the confines of Harrisburg, PA. You know, as I say, Pastor Thomas, where they'll remind you that you're not from here. You understand what I'm saying, Pastor Thomas? And I'm not. I'm from Detroit. Okay, thanks for viewing, y'all. There was no takers. If y'all had comments about whether Aussie Green, Councilwoman Aussie Green, should step down or be suspended or be voted out of her positions, or if Judge McKnight, I think she is suspended without pay, and so should Aussie Green be suspended without pay also? Okay, you be the judge. You know, you can leave your comments on the video, and I hope to see y'all again, you know, next Monday night if God give. And I would talk about that. We didn't talk about that football game. I was surprised that the 49ers lost that game. I was really pulling for the NFC, you know, and I wanted the 49ers to win because they edged out my Detroit Lions. But anyway, so that's the game, and this is the show. And peace, love, good night, everybody. Be careful if that supposed storm hits us tomorrow. Drive careful, you know, drive like you're taking a road test, you know. That's what I always try to do, drive like I'm taking a road test, you know. And no drinking and driving, you know, that's something that I ain't got to worry about, you know, because I don't drink any, I don't even ingest, as a matter of fact, mouthwash, but then again, I don't drink that, but that's the only alcohol that touch these lips, you know. All right, Pastor Thomas. All right, good night, everybody.
Say
Shout out to Eleanor Harrison. I told you I would shout you out.
Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought.